All right, Kevin back with you for another episode of the $1 Million Relationships Podcast. And today I'm here with Prateek. Jaani, Prateek, welcome. So awesome to have you on the show today.
Thank you, Kevin. I'm so honored to be on the show.
Well, I'll tell you, I have really been looking forward to this because you and I, we've already got to have a conversation and get to know each other a little bit. And I'm not going to lie, I was absolutely fascinated by some of the stuff you shared when we spoke before. And I've been really looking forward to doing this interview today. And I want to start by giving a shout out to, Brianna and Tom and the whole crew over at Interview Valet, because that's how you and I got connected. And I just really appreciate those guys and the work they do because over the last few years, I mean, I'll tell you, they've sent some amazing guests my way, and I'm incredibly appreciative of that. And now, heck, whenever I get an email from Brianna these days, I'm always, I don't know what's going to be in there, but I know it's going to be good,
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely.
and so,
I completely agree. And there is a story on how I met, Interview Valley. Like I was searching because I was new to the book launch. I mean, none of the person in my entire circle, since I was born to now, has written or published a book.
okay.
So from start to the end, I knew nothing. So I have taken help of the internet, obviously. And the Interview Valley was the first thing that came to me. I looked at the website and I felt some connection to it. And then I had the call, and they said we want to make sure that you fit in with what we do.
Mhm.
And after I shared the journey and the story, they were quite happy to for me to be part of what they do. And I think what the book is about is how it's a slightly deeper message, but wherever this book needs to go, the people are being connected through either internet or Instagram or events or wherever I go, and randomly people approach to me and things are just happening. So I'm not doing anything. I'm just witnessing what's happening and just participating in that experience. So
That
I'm
is
I'm
awesome.
equally grateful to Interview Valley for introducing each other,
Yeah.
and the work they do. It's just amazing.
Yes, it 100% is. Well, I'll just start off by asking you a really simple question to get us going, Pratik. What do you do and who do you serve?
I have, unfortunately, no. Every time I've been asked this question. I have two answers, right?
Okay.
One, like what I do now, like after the book, and what I
Uh-huh.
have been doing before the book, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
now I really don't do anything. When I mean, it sounds really strange, but I just wake up in the morning, and then obviously you've got things planned up, and I just participate, and I have so much fun and joy just performing whatever I'm doing,
Uh-huh.
because I know that there is nothing I want in return. It just happens. The flow just comes. My job is to just give or deliver and be, experience that activity.
Yeah.
Um, but, if I say from normal vocabulary, I have been a business consultant for the last 20 years. I started as an accountant, and I
Okay.
just stepped up, became a tax expert, helping people saving tax, helping them structure the business, help them set it up and grow and scale, and how to grow the business, how to position their services or marketing in the market, their services or product in the market, and help them with their branding and how can they be different than their competitors. So that's where I specialize in.
Okay.
Um, so I have been helping them, but what I realized over the course of my journey is I wasn't really doing things or helping them with their numbers much. It was more about their mindset. So if they
Okay.
started a business, what is their mindset about the business? How they perceive risks, how they perceive fears, and how much the risk and fear were controlling their actions. That's what I really learned. But back then I didn't know. So I used to tell them things which are positive. It's more motivational than something much deeper. And myself, I worked for other firms for about 12 years, and then I started my own company, and I started doing, and I have been through the same mindset and those internal battles with yourself, right?
Yep.
Whether you're going to make it or not, and what can fail, and you're fully logical about calculating everything. um, So I knew what people are really going through, but every time I achieved my target, it only lasted for a short time. And then I had to, there is a new target,
Mm.
new things. And the same thing with clients. And then, I was like, what is it I'm really after? Because one day I'm going to die and I'm going to leave everything behind. What is that I'm running for? So, yeah, my normal work has been really giving people positive mindset, motivate them, inspire them, and help them obviously with my technical expertise of the taxation and accounting and
Yep.
consulting. A
Yep.
combination of all is what I've been doing for the last 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really interesting. You bring up we reach a milestone, we reach a goal, and so often, but by the time we reach that milestone or reach that goal, we by the time we get there, we've already kind of thought ahead in our minds of like the next milestone and the next goal, and so we don't really even stop barely long enough to celebrate the progress we've made because now we're already on to the next thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think the one of the biggest thing which is kind of hidden and which I noticed was the more pressure was to retain what I have acquired than getting something new. Because,
Ah,
if you don't do anything, you can easily lose. That's the mindset we always have. So that is why we were always on a battlefield. There is no resting time.
yes.
And that really bothered not just me, but everyone I was talking to around that time. So when they had nothing to lose, they were less worried when compared to now they have something to lose. So they are more stressed and more worried.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, and I can totally relate to that. And so there's so many questions I could ask, and I'm also realizing we've only got limited time. And there's already more questions over and above what I already had come up with. And well, let me start by, so how did you get into doing, how did the transition take place that got into doing the work you're now doing, which is like now it's a completely different kind of experience for you? How did the transition take place for you, Pratik?
I'll try to keep it short because I want to be mindful of the time. So when I started my company, I met another accountant, and funny enough, I met him last week, and he was surprised by what has happened in the last 10 years. And he suggested me a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Okay.
And he actually asked me, like, have you read this book? I'm like, no, I haven't. I was like, if you haven't read the book, how are you gonna advise clients what to advise? And I literally read, that's the very first book I ever read on personal growth.
Okay.
And the thing is, one book after the other, then the other, and it just went on, and my understanding went deeper and deeper and deeper. So I understood what the problems were, but didn't know where they came from. I then also coming from India, had my connections or you know my resonance with the spiritual practices, but
Okay.
I could only accept them if I am logically explained. So if somebody says do these every day, and I can't unless I understand the science behind it. And I had been very curious. I think that's one thing which has led me to where I am today.
Okay.
So I've been to Sadhguru's inner engineering initiation. I've done Kriya Yoga. I'm initiated for Kriya Yoga. I have attended. I've done online course for Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Okay.
And I think countless podcasts on everything, like from human evolution to neuroscience and chakra healing and how the energy and vibrations work and how the law of attraction works for manifestation. And I've practiced every single thing in the last 10 years.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I felt I didn't see any change. And suddenly, when I gave up on everything, I realized something. And one important thing to add is 4 years ago, I went through rapid transformational therapy. I had my relationship problems, and then I came out of it 3 4 years ago, and I got divorced. But that time I was emotionally really, really low and broken, and I kind of had existential crisis, like what do I exist for?
Okay.
Because one makes money to have a happy family life, but when you're not in a family, you're not really motivated to even earn money, because what's the point? That's the question you keep asking yourself. And I came across rapid transformational therapy, and it was on a Mind Valley course which I subscribed to, and it was pre-recorded audio on love. And something shifted in me in that 30-minute audio, and I was so much touched and shifted by that I actually decided to be qualified rapid transformational therapist. And luckily, Marisa Peer was doing one in London live within a month of me listening to this. So I qualified myself with the hypnotherapist and the rapid transformational therapist. And then I started hypnotizing people on their problems, so self-doubt and fears and anger and weight loss. And what I learned is whatever we experience today, if we were conditioned in the childhood, how we were treated as a child or what was happening around us, kind of dictated, or we created that conditioning or programming to react. And what I was doing is removing those beliefs and helping them install positive beliefs, so then it can serve them better. And I did that for about 2 years. And one day I was meditating and I realized something. I'm like, okay, I see how we are conditioned. And if we didn't have a right conditioning, our life experience is negative. When I say negative, is like you're sad, or you don't feel complete, you don't feel worthy, right? And what I'm really doing is putting positive beliefs. But where is these beliefs, lying on? What is the surface? So I had the realization of something which was underneath this layer of conditioning. And when I experienced that, I felt this bliss, this wholeness, this completeness.
Yeah.
And if I asked that a question, like, what is that I really want? And the answer came, like, I have everything I can ever need. I am complete, and I have always been complete. And then, being logical, I applied this. I went back in that state. I went back to the worst, saddest moment where I was in tears, and I was emotionally hurt a lot. This part was constant. It was stable. It's unaffected. It's observing what I'm experiencing.
Okay.
Then I went to one of the happiest moments when I won my biggest client. And I was so happy that how much money I was going to make out of it. But this part was not affected by that. And then, in like 5 minutes, I went to 100 different events where I was happy, sad, angry, all of it.
Okay.
And I could feel that these experiences are my learned experiences. I learned to react in that situation. I didn't know how to react, but this part has always been steady. It is like 1-year-old boy, and if the grandfather passes away in front of him, he's not going to cry because he has not learned to interpret that event.
Yeah.
And same way, if the father walks into the house and says, "Hey, son, I won $1 million lottery," the son's not going to react to that because he doesn't know what has just happened.
Yeah.
So whether money is a good thing and now we can buy all the luxury, that programming has not been yet there in that child.
Yeah.
So this state was that state. It didn't need anything. And I realized that what we really need is for this body to survive. So food and sleep. And that's something I always had. And then when I went back, I realized that every time, since we were grown up, we have been conditioned to chase the fulfillment externally.
Yes.
But that can never be complete. So that is the reason, no matter how much money you earn, you are always going to chase more, because you're not really wanting more money. What you really want is to feel that fulfillment, feel that completeness.
Yeah.
And it can never come because it is designed that if you are conditioned to chase something externally which doesn't exist, then one can die that with the last thought, like, oh, I wish I had time to do that as well. But when you have this wholeness, this completeness, there is nothing more. It's like the ocean. If somebody comes and puts 2 million liter of water, the ocean is not affected by it.
Yeah.
If somebody takes away 2 million liter of water, it's still not affected. The ocean is still the ocean.
Yeah.
And then I came to a conclusion, like the further thoughts or understanding, like, okay, if I'm complete, then what is all this for? What is all this about? And then it was more like participating in the experience, what is happening externally.
Okay.
Right. So, if the simple example, if somebody is working, in a corporate and they are always stressed with their deadlines and the project and the task they have, and they have a hobby of playing piano. So once a week, they sit down for an hour and play piano. When they are playing the piano, they feel amazing. They feel, awesome, because they don't have any outcome expected from their activity, but playing piano itself gives them joy.
Yes.
So when you apply that to everything you do, from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, it is like playing that piano. How blissful that is, how joyful that is. And I started experiencing that. So it was an overnight thing, but it is something. When I feel something is giving me worry, like the old me, I straight away go to the state and see what is this really worry for. And I feel the experience. I watch what is it that is causing, how my emotions are going up and down.
Yeah.
And I was really detached from it. And things started to work out itself. I was not chasing anything. It was just happening.
Yeah.
And when I applied this to the law of attraction, give a simple example. If you want to receive something, you have to keep your arms open or your hands open, right? Yeah. If you make a fist, you can't receive it.
That's right.
So if you are tensed, that means you're making a fist. You have to tense your hand to make a fist, right?
Yes.
But if you want to receive, you just have to be relaxed.
Yeah.
But because we've been chasing things externally, we are always tense. We are always tight, right? We take short breaths. And as a result, our body, our nervous system is feeling same as the fist, which means you are not in a receiving mode. You are in a survival mode. And if you are operating from the survival or lack, what you're going to experience is more lack. That's what the law of attraction says, that you receive what you are. And when I realized this, and when I use these techniques on more than, like let's say 10 people, and they had this realization, I could not stop myself from sharing this. So the very first thing came is the book. And then I had these beta readers, as I said, they said, you need to bring something, after the book, because this is something so amazing and so simple. That you got to do this. So I then created Drasti method, which is 3-day experience. Okay. So whatever I described, the book is a very deep level of understanding. And I think 90 out of 100 people would be able to benefit from the book itself.
Okay.
But 10, I categorize them like me, who wants to kind of go into the deeper level of it and really have that experience.
Yeah.
The method is there.
Yeah.
And this is how it all happened. I wouldn't say I've done, I would say happened.
Uh-huh. I love that. I love that. So what is a result that you've helped someone get as a result of this, that you're just incredibly proud of, Pratiqk?
I have a very recent example. I had a friend who had been working for IT company for the last 10 years.
Okay.
And he saved some capital. He bought his own house and everything, but he wasn't happy in his job.
Okay.
And he was into cars. So he said, I want to, have this car business. And I'm like, okay. And he said, I'm really worried because 10 years ago I had nothing to lose, but now I have something to lose. So I'm more frightened. What if I lose everything?
Yeah.
And then I asked him a question. Is it really the fear that you lose everything, or the fear is actually something else? And he goes, he took a couple of minutes to just analyze it. And he goes, actually, if I could make this before, I can make this again if I lose it. But the fear isn't about the money itself. The fear is, what will people say? Because you had all this money, and why did you think of doing this business? That silly idea. You could have
Uh-huh.
just lived your life how it was going. And I said, yeah, that's the true fear. So anyways, I gave him a couple of sessions, and we found out where the fear was actually programmed, of
Okay.
what will people say. So he overcame that, and he used some of his capital and bought about 7 8 cars to start with. He handed in his notice to the work, and then it had been 3 weeks and he didn't sell any car. So I called him over and I said, look, you've done what you could. Now enjoy the process. You've bought the cars, you listed on the platform to sell. Now just relax. And you don't want to sell any car. Whatever you had to do, you've done it. So he literally opened his fist. In
Uh-huh.
2 days, he sold all 7 cars,
All
which he couldn't
seven.
sell. All 7 cars. And then he did the same thing again. I said, as long as you release you are whole yourself. But we keep forgetting that, right?
Yeah.
Because our conditioning is so strong and it's been going on for a number of years. And this is something we realize very freshly and very new. So now it's been 6 months and he says, Pratik, my problem isn't selling cars, my problem is to get a good cars to sell. I'm like, see?
Yeah.
So I was so, and he acknowledges that if he hadn't met me, there is no way he started his business.
Yeah.
And I feel so grateful to be able to be available with what he needed to give him, because he always deserved, and everybody deserves the life they want.
Yeah.
And because of the conditioning and because of the fears, people spend their life hoping that one day they will do it, and that day never comes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that makes my heart cry. And hence, I've devoted, as I said, the rest of my life to reach out to as many people as possible to experience this bliss and live their life amazingly
Yeah.
with full satisfaction.
Yes. And you said that now, his problem is not selling cars. He can totally sell them. Now his problem is finding the cars. But I would imagine by just following the same process and just opening
Yeah,
up,
exactly.
he's not
Exactly.
gonna have any problem finding cars either.
Exactly. I gave him an example. The farmers, they have seeds and they just put it everywhere in the land. And then the seeds which are going to turn into crop, they're going to do, you're not going to go back and check which seed has grown and which seed has unfertilized, right? It's there. So your job is to be out there and
Yeah.
be open. That's it. And you will meet right people at the right time and things will change. But
Yes.
the fact that you don't need anything to take place to make you feel complete, that feeling of completeness itself is going to keep your vibrations at opening energy, so
Yeah.
receiving energy. And
Yes.
that's what he's doing.
Yeah. That is.
So did I give him a method where he had to wake up 4 o'clock in the morning and meditate? No. Did I ask him, eat this, don't eat this? Nothing. Is there really an exercise? No, there is no exercise. There is no homework, because you do something to achieve something. But in this method, you don't have to achieve anything because you already have what you need.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty compared to all the techniques I tried, because all of those needed me to do something every single day for 21 days or 48 days or 90 days to achieve something which was still putting something externally.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they were wrong. I think they were the steps for me to realize what I realized.
Yes.
But they were still wanting me to, get something externally
Yeah.
to receive. Because before I was believing in working so hard to make money.
Uh-huh.
And then I came to know that no, I just need to visualize
Yeah.
and I need to affirm and be positive. But I still had to chase something outside. And I'm like, if I manifested $1 million, I'll be happy again for a month or two. And then I would want probably $10 million. So, okay, the methods have changed, but I'm still the same internally because I'm chasing something externally. But
Yeah.
with this method, it's everything just flows itself.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And it's that just that whole feeling of, that we are enough, that we're worthy, that, that we don't have to chase and
Absolutely.
all that kind of stuff, that
Yeah,
comes from internal.
absolutely, absolutely. And I think one of the big thing that happened, and I only realize it when I see other people, you know, reacting in a different way, is you start delabeling things.
Okay.
So, you know, let's say people check a weather app every day, and if it's raining, the rain isn't there. It's just in the app. It shows that it's raining today for an hour. They're
Okay.
already upset about it,
Yeah.
right? I
Yeah.
mean, there's nothing you can do to stop it,
Yeah.
right? And it's a natural cycle. So we normally label things as this is good and this is bad.
Yeah.
But when you see things from wholeness, everything becomes experience. So you don't label as good and bad. They are just experience. So good isn't good anymore and bad isn't bad anymore. They
Yeah.
are just experience that gives you joy. So if
Yeah.
it's raining, embrace it. And if it's dry and nice, you still embrace it. It's just your experience.
Yes.
But that comes from within. Like if we haven't experienced something, it's a philosophy, right? Or it's feel good content, as we say. But
Yeah.
when you experience it and you see from it, it's just bliss.
That's right. That's right. Well, okay. So now that we've got some context set here and people have a little bit of idea of who you are and what you're all about, Pratik, I want to switch gears just a little bit. And I
Mhm.
want to start talking about the relationship side of all
Mhm.
this. So,
Sure.
have you ever met or been introduced to a person or persons who completely changed the course of your life or your business, so much so that much of what you have today would not be possible if not for this person or persons? And I'm just really excited to hear your story and your experience around this topic of relationships.
Really interesting side because a lot of people, I mean, I think the relationships are the foundation of everything we do.
Yeah.
If we get good marks in school, the first thing we want to do is rush to the home and share it to the people who are part of our family,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that is a fundamental. Like if you earn £1 million, who you really want to share with is your family,
Yes.
um, your happy moments. And if something goes wrong, is again you want to share with your family to
Yep.
support you. um, I think there are a lot of people I can name because I think it's the steps, right? Every step you meet someone and there is something good about them which you want to adopt in your life.
Yeah.
Whether it's being kind, whether it's being helpful to someone. I mean, there are some people you meet and you say to yourself that you don't want to become like that, but that's also learning,
That's right.
right? So
That's right.
I still learned from people, and again, who decides whether this is to be learned and this is not to be learned is again part of conditioning. But we keep. I mean, I'm not saying conditioning is a wrong thing because if there was no conditioning in place, you wouldn't realize your true self
Mhm.
because conditioning is mandatory. I gave you an earlier example on that 1 year old child. If that child is never been conditioning, he will never find that wholeness or the completeness, right? But
Mhm.
the fact that he was conditioned and he chased things externally and he didn't find the fulfillment, and then he realized, okay, so this is all was conditioning, and behind the conditioning is my true self.
Mhm.
Now I know what I am. Now I know who I am. So conditioning was mandatory step
Yeah.
for me to realize my true self. So
Yes.
it isn't a bad thing. It isn't a wrong thing. It is absolutely necessary
Yes.
because
Yes.
Uh,
Part of the
but
process.
absolutely, absolutely. So I would say my grandparents, my mom's side and my dad's side, is I would say I've learned a lot from their journey of life.
Okay.
My dad's side, what is the meaning of sacrifice and what is doing things for family and their future. So you sacrifice your leisure and luxury and save money to have a better future for your future generations. I mean, I think it was amazing back in those days, whatever he did. And same thing with my grandmother. She married someone who was educated with good ethics, but not financially really successful.
Okay.
And I think the combination of two really got us where we are today. So they taught us what to value more. When you have something to compare with, you go
Uh-huh.
for the values of the person, then the net worth of the person.
Yeah.
So I think I learned those two things from them, and from my mom's parents, I learned the meaning of love. What is the
Mhm.
meaning of unconditional love? And even today, if I go there, I behave like how I was when I was 5 year old,
Okay.
because I know that they're not going to judge me for what I do. I can be my true self. I can be my crazy self. And how to be that to your family or your children,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's something I learned from them. So I think they were two pillars or the foundation. Through that, even I learned things from my bosses who I work with, my clients, my friends, my colleagues, because they all had something which I really liked about,
Yep.
and I would take it. Um, Even the books that I have read, I mean, on relationship, I read this brilliant. There were two books which really changed my understanding or gave me a lot of insight. One was The Way to Superior Man by David Data,
Okay.
and I don't remember the author's name for the second book. It was No More Mr. Nice Guy.
Okay.
Because I was conditioned in my childhood that in order to receive love and attention, I had to give, I had to care for the person, and I had to deliver more, like act of service. And I had been doing that in my marriage, in my friends, in so I always felt disappointed because I'm doing everything for them and they're not doing it.
Uh-huh.
And that pain, that hurt of not receiving what you desire
Mhm.
was undescribable, right? But then, it's the pain who made me ask the question, is this it? Is this what the real life is about?
Mhm.
And, that's where I came across the rapid transformational therapy audio, and I got to know why I was built like this. Because when I was kid and when I did something for my parents, they would praise, they would give praise in front of all the other family, like Pratik listens, he's a really nice kid and he
Okay.
does this, he does that. So my brain interpreted that because I'm doing these, I'm a good person.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And when that happens repeatedly, that becomes stronger belief in your pattern and your programming.
Yeah.
So when you meet someone strange, you just want to buy them a drink, you want to do this, you want to drop them home, and like bombard with the hospitality and respect them, praise them, all sorts of things.
Yeah.
But then you don't get that back is when things start to hurt you.
Yes.
Um, and when you realize it, it just drops. It's like you see a magic trick and you're fascinated by how it's been done, and then next day you learn that trick, and then that fun goes away because you
Yeah.
know how that happened. So
That's right.
the moment you realize that, okay, this is how I was programmed, so now instantly just realization of that
Yeah.
you know takes it away. And from that day, I think, when we talk about self-love and self-care and things, they're all good, and we should do that. I'm not against that, but we are forcing it, isn't it? But it needs to come from within,
Yeah.
and that only comes when we go inside our programming and find out how did we learn not to self-care, how did we learn not to self-love. Because when we fix that, it becomes automatic process.
Yes. 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 Yeah. And boy, I'll tell you, coming from that place, that like it because people meet us where we are. And when we
Yes.
come from that place, it just all of a sudden everything gets so much simpler and easier, and it just things happen in flow, and
Absolutely,
it's,
absolutely, absolutely.
yeah, yeah,
And I think when we meet people, I mean, when you operate from wholeness and you meet someone once and you just be yourself, you're not going to do any. I'm not saying I stop doing anything at all for people. I still did what I was doing, but now I was getting joy by
Yes,
doing it instead of expecting something from them.
that's right.
So even if they don't call me for a month, I'm okay because
Yeah,
I wasn't even waiting for that call in the first place.
yeah,
Because when they are here, I'm with them. When I'm not with them, I am somewhere else, and I'm having my joy over there, or with that
yeah.
person, or with that activity. So I'm not waiting on anything to
No,
take place.
no,
I am where I had to be, and it's just so joyful.
that's right. That's
It
right.
is hard, and it's a process. The first thing I learned was, when you have expectations, they always are followed by disappointments, so you don't expect things. But
Yeah,
then how do you really do that? Because 99% training is for our conscious mind, right? And our actions come from subconscious. So no matter how hard we try on controlling our experiences,
yeah,
it still doesn't work. Like, someone was having an anger problem, right? And they say, I tell myself every day, like, I'm going to be calm, but when something happens, I just snap. And what is that is not allowing me to take a pause. I mean, we watch on YouTube and say you need to take a pause, but at the moment when you're angry, you don't remember to take a pause, you just
yeah,
act out, right?
yeah, yeah.
And then, there are techniques, like if you meditate, you're going to learn to have that pause. But it is really a long-winded, I mean, for me, it had been really long-winded process.
Okay.
But when I hypnotized this particular person, they went to the childhood, and she saw that the parents are having argument, and one of the parent was angry. And as soon as that parent got angry, things happened his or her way. What the child learned is, if you want things your way, you gotta be angry. So if there is anything unpleasant which you don't want or you don't like, in order to change it, you gotta get angry. So
Okay.
because of this, this programming,
Yep.
the person used to act out with anger. But the
Uh-huh.
moment she realized how she learned, it went. So 2 weeks later, she calls me and say, Pratiqk, I tell you something amazing. And I said, what? Says, everything outside is still the same, but I don't get angry anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can observe it. And I know that I could have been angry, but I'm not. And the beautiful thing was that I noticed that I'm not angry.
Yeah.
So when you feel this wholeness, what happens is you start feeling whole. You start feeling that there is nothing you need. No matter how much you give, you're still full, you're still complete, because you are everything that needed to be,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So your relationships get better, because when people get what they want and they don't have to give anything, obviously they will realize it. And when we fight for something, people, you activate other person's defense mechanism, so they won't understand your point.
Mhm.
But if you let go of that, obviously you're shifting your energy and vibrations as well at the same time. But if somebody comes angry at you, they know that you're going to get cross with them because you have your defense points, right?
Yeah.
But when you know that you were doing that out of your conditioning, you're not going to react to that,
Yeah.
which means you're not really giving them what they were expecting. So they will notice that subconsciously.
Yeah.
This person, Pratik, wasn't angry at this.
Uh-huh.
And then it starts shifting them as well.
Yes.
So the relationship will start to change with you and other people as they interact with you, because what reactions you used to give before, you're not going to give them anymore, because
Yeah.
you operate from wholeness, you operate from abundance.
Yeah.
And they will start feeling your vibrations, like, oh, this, nothing matters to you, like nothing gives you worry. How could you be
Nothing.
fearless?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't do anything by having fear, so why should I worry?
Yeah.
So it's like, oh my god, we're going out and it's raining. I'm like, that's okay, you can carry umbrella if you want.
Yeah.
But we're going in a car, so the car is right in front of our house, we just get in
Yeah.
and turn the wipers on, it's fine, it's experience.
Yeah.
I'm like, how could everything be so simple for you? And I'm like, because they are simple.
Yeah.
We were taught to complicate it,
Yeah.
and it was for a very good reason.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. I'll tell you, Pratik, I could talk with you for hours. This is just really fascinating. And, you know, well, for anyone who might be listening to this and thinking to themselves, man, Kevin, I'm with you. I really love Pratik. I love who he is and how he shows up. I loves what he's sharing. And man, I'd really like to, I'd like to get more of this. Any websites, any resources we can share with folks, Pratik?
Yes, definitely. I have two websites. One is for the book because
Okay.
that's what I started for. It's pratiqjaani.com.
Okay.
It's pratiqjaani.com.
Okay.
And the other one is drustimethod.com.
Okay.
And they can buy the book using Amazon, or the book is available on Amazon, and over time I think it should be available in all the retail outlets as well.
Okay.
What I really recommend is to read a book with open mind, and see where it takes.
Yeah.
Okay. If you read the book and you feel you resonate with it, but you have a particular situation in life which you can't really apply this method to, there is an email address on my website. Drop me an email, and I'll try my best to respond with your particular query. Uh, because the purpose is to help, and I wouldn't say help. The purpose is my calling. I treat myself as a medium, and whoever is in a need and whoever is there to experience the life without stress, without anxiety, without fears, and with full joy, there is something out there,
Yeah.
and I will do everything possible for even one person who can experience. I think that's worth my life.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Pratik, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to have this conversation today. Like I said, it's absolutely fascinating. And I'm excited to get this out there and share it with folks. And so thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Kevin, for having me at the show and allowing me to reach out to your listeners and share the idea with which they can also benefit and
Yeah.
live a happy life. Thank you very much.
You are so welcome.